A wonderful day, grade 9 students! Welcome to Valenzuela Live Science 9, where learning is fun. Are you ready for today's fun-filled learning experience? But wait, before we begin, let me give you some reminders to observe during our live discussion. Use your real name, use a workspace that is suitable for learning, take down notes during class, use the comment box appropriately, and respect one another. And now, please get your learner's module in science, your pen and notebook. If you're ready, let's begin. For today's session, we will be going to discuss about these pictures. Do you have any idea what is it all about? Yes, we will be going to explore our respiratory and circulatory system. And here are our objectives for today. Identify and describe the function of each part of the breathing system. Describe the mechanism of breathing. And last is, identify the components of circulatory system and the different types of circulation. Our discussion for today is based on the first week activities on your learner's module. Exciting, right? But before we start our discussion, let's have a short game first. Let's play Find a Lie. 3 statements will be flashed on your screen and you will be going to choose which of those statements is a lie. You have 15 seconds to type your answer in the comment box below. Are you ready? Let's start. Which of these is a lie? A. Organs are made up of tissues that are working together. B. Tissue is the basic unit of life. Or C. Organ systems are made up of different organs of the body. Time's up! The answer is B. The basic unit of life is cell. Next. Which of these is a lie? A. Circulatory system includes the heart, blood vessel, and the blood. B. Heartburn happens in the digestive system, not in your heart. Or C. The urinary bladder, kidney, and ureters are the main parts of the digestive system. The answer is C. The urinary bladder, kidney, and ureters are parts of the urinary system and not the digestive system. Next, which of these is a lie? A. Spinal cord is a part of the skeletal system. B. Heart is the main organ of the circulatory system. Or C. Lungs are the main organ of the respiratory system. The answer is A. Spinal cord is a part of the nervous system and not the skeletal system. Did you get all the answers correct? Great! Well, speaking of the respiratory system, how do you think it performs its function? How could we describe the pathway of air into the lungs? Time for us to find out. The respiratory system is made up of organs in the body that help us to breathe. The word respiration is linked to breathing. Respiratory system is made up of different parts such as the nose, nasal cavity, pharynx, trachea, bronchi, lungs, bronchioles, alveoli, and the diaphragm. Let us discuss each part of the respiratory system. The nose serves as passageway of air into our body. It is the entry and exit point of air into and outside our body. Next is the nasal cavity. It filters the air entering the body before it reaches the lungs. Next, we have the pharynx, also known as the throat, and it is a common passageway for air, food, and liquid. Under the pharynx, there is a small flap of muscle which is called epiglottis. It seals off the windpipe during eating so that food is not accidentally inhaled. Next is the larynx, that contains the vocal cords, which is responsible for the production of sound. After the larynx, we have the trachea, also known as the windpipe. It is an empty tube that serves as passageway of air in the lungs. The bronchi, which are also known as the bronchial tube, these are two branching tubes that connect trachea into the lungs. After the bronchi, we have the bronchioles, which are the finer subdivisions of the bronchi. The bronchioles are hair-like tubes that connect to the alveoli. The alveoli are the air sacs that allow gas exchange in the lungs. In this image, we can see that the alveoli look like grapes that are attached to the stems, which are the bronchioles, just like this. We have the lungs, which is responsible for the process of gas exchange called external respiration or breathing. The lung is where the alveoli are located. And lastly, we have the diaphragm, the primary muscle used in the process of breathing. It is a dome-shaped sheet of muscle inserted into the lower ribs. Again, let us recall the parts of the respiratory system. We have the nose, nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, alveoli, lungs, and the diaphragm. We have another question to answer. Have you ever wondered how do lungs work? Well, let us have a virtual tour in our breathing system to find out. First, the air flows into the body through the nose, mouth, and nasal cavity. Then, the air passes by epiglottis, a small flap that directs air down to the lungs. The air will then travel down the trachea or windpipe and into the right and left bronchi. The bronchi branch out farther to become bronchioles, and small air-filled sacs called alveoli. Around the alveoli, tiny capillaries bring blood to exchange gases. Capillaries give up their waste carbon dioxide and pick up the oxygen. Carbon dioxide is then exhaled. Gas exchange is the delivery of oxygen from the lungs to the bloodstream and the elimination of carbon dioxide from the bloodstream lungs. It occurs in the lungs between the alveoli and a network of tiny blood vessels called capillaries, which are in the walls of the alveoli. Now, let's talk about the mechanism of breathing, which is important for us to have enough supply of oxygen in our lungs. There are two mechanisms that are involved in breathing: inhalation, the process of breathing in, and exhalation, the process of breathing out. During inhalation, our diaphragm muscle contracts. The diaphragm moves down and expands the chest cavity, creating more space and less air pressure inside the lungs. This is important to accommodate the incoming air inside our lungs. During exhalation, the diaphragm muscle relaxes and the chest cavity returns to its original size. There will be less space and greater air pressure inside the lungs. Thus, the lungs will push the air outside where there is lower air pressure. To visualize how the diaphragm and the lungs work together, look at this lung model. The stretch balloon under the bottle serves as the diaphragm and the two small balloons are the lungs. When we pull the stretch balloon, the two smaller balloons will be filled with air. Same with the lungs every time we inhale. When we push the balloon to its original place, the two smaller balloons will be deflated. Same with our lungs when we exhale. Amazing, right? Let's have another game entitled Inhale or Exhale. In this game, you will choose inhale if the statement describes inhalation, and choose exhale if it describes exhalation. You have 15 seconds to type your answer in the comment box. Are you ready? Start! There will be more space and less air pressure inside the lungs. Is it inhale or exhale? Time's up. The answer is inhale. This statement describes inhalation. Next, the lungs pushes the air outside where there is lower air pressure. Is it inhale or exhale? Time's up. The answer is exhale. This statement describes exhalation. For the last statement, the diaphragm muscle contracts. Is it inhale or exhale? Time's up. The answer is inhale. This statement describes inhalation. Great job, grade 9 students! So much about the respiratory system. Now, let's move on to the circulatory system. Circulatory system transports nutrients, gases, hormones, and other materials to and from the cells of the body. It is like a channel of highways extending to every part of our body to make sure that each cell will have enough oxygen and other materials necessary for it to function properly. There are three components in our circulatory system: the heart, blood vessels, and the blood. The heart pumps blood throughout the body. It is the muscle that is about the size of your fist. It has four chambers, namely the right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, and left ventricle. The atrium, plural is atria, is the receiving chambers of the heart. It receives blood coming from the other parts of the body. The ventricles are the pumping chambers that force blood out of the heart towards the different parts of the body. Next, we have the blood vessels. It carries blood throughout the body. The blood vessels have three types. First are the arteries, which carry blood away from the heart towards the different parts of the body. Second are the veins that carry blood from other parts of the body towards the heart. Last one is the capillaries that connect the arteries and veins. In this picture, the artery is red because it carries oxygenated blood coming from the heart to be delivered to the different parts of our body. The vein is blue because it carries blood with less oxygen coming from the different parts of our body to be delivered to the heart. The capillaries connect these two blood vessels inside the tissues and organs of our body. But students, this is just a representation. All the blood vessels in the body are red. Last component of the circulatory system is the blood. The blood carries material throughout the body. The materials that blood delivers to different parts of the body are oxygen, hormones, nutrients, and other materials essential in the proper functioning of our organs and tissues. For our next game, we will play red or blue. In this game, you will choose red if the statement describes the word in the red box, and choose blue if the statement describes the word in the blue box. You have 15 seconds to type your answer in the comment box. Are you ready? Let's begin. It pumps blood throughout the body. In red, heart. Blue, lungs. Is it red or blue? Time's up. The answer is red. It is the heart that pumps blood throughout our body. Next, it carries blood away from the heart. In red, vein. Blue, artery. Is it red or blue? Time's up. The answer is blue. Artery. Artery carries blood away from the heart. For the last one, it carries material throughout the body. In red, blood. In blue, blood vessel. Is it red or blue? Time's up. The answer is red. The blood carries material all throughout our body. Did you get all the correct answers? Amazing! Grade 9 students! Now, do you have any idea how blood circulates in our body? There are 3 ways on how the blood circulates inside the body. The first one is pulmonary circulation, which describes the movement of blood between the heart and the lungs. Second is the coronary circulation, which describes the movement of blood through the tissues of the heart. The last one is the systemic circulation that describes the movement of blood from the heart to the rest of our body. In this image, the heart pumps the oxygenated blood delivered by the veins to the lungs. Inside the lungs, capillaries deliver the oxygenated blood to the alveoli where gas exchange will occur. The blood coming from the lungs will become oxygen-rich blood. It will then go back to the heart and the heart will pump it out again to be delivered to the different parts of the body. Now, for our last game, let us play matchmaking. What we're going to do is to match the image that will be flashed on your screen with a term that describes it. You have 15 seconds to type your answer in the comment box. Are you ready? Let's start. Which term will describe this picture? Is it pulmonary circulation or systemic circulation? Time's up. The answer is pulmonary circulation. Great. How about this picture? Which term will describe it? Is it coronary circulation or systemic circulation? Time's up. Yes, the answer is systemic circulation. Now for the last image. Which term will describe this picture? Is it systemic circulation or coronary circulation? Time's up! Right, the answer is coronary circulation. Congratulations, grade 9 students, for a job well done. Always remember, the respiratory system ensures a constant supply of oxygen and the removal of carbon dioxide between the blood and the lungs. At the same time, the circulatory system ensures a constant supply of oxygen and nutrients in our body. That is how the respiratory and circulatory system works together. Now, it's time for us to answer some questions about our lesson. First question, how do the nasal cavity filter the air we breathe? Well, the function of the nasal cavity is to warm, moisturize, and filter air entering the body before it reaches the lungs. Tiny hair and mucus in the nasal cavity help to trap dust, mold, pollen, and other environmental contaminants before they can reach the inner portions of the body. Next question, how much blood do we have in our body? The blood comprises 8 to 10% of our body weight, and an average adult has about 4.5 to 5.7 liters of blood. Yes, How do blood pressure and pulse rate differ? Well, blood pressure is the force of your blood moving through your blood vessels, while the pulse rate is the number of times your heart beats per minute. That will be some of the questions that I can answer for today. But don't worry, because you will have your follow-up discussion with your subject teacher tomorrow. Now, in your learner's module, you are expected to answer the following activities. Activity 1, parts of the respiratory system and the mechanism of the lungs. What you're going to do is to locate the parts of the breathing system using the image of waves like what we had discussed a while ago. In part B of the activity 1, you just need to arrange the events in proper order by writing the letter to the numbers given. Activity 2, the lungs and the diaphragm working together. This activity is about the mechanism of breathing. What you need to do is to write the events about inhalation and exhalation corresponding to each letter. Another is the activity that requires the help of your family members. You just need to ask 2 members of your family to take a deep breath and ask them how they feel. Record their answer in the table provided. Activity 3, components of the circulatory system. For this activity, you just need to arrange the jumbled words to create a sentence that will describe the given components of the circulatory system. And for the last one, activity 4, different types of circulation. What you're going to do is to match the type of circulation to its description and to the image that matches the description. Do not forget to answer the guide questions in each activity. You may rewatch this video for your reference. Thank you, grade 9 students, for watching today's session in FB Valenzuela Live Science 9. I hope you learned and enjoyed this session. Again, this is Miss Lalita Fernelius, your science teacher. Take care and God bless everyone.